All right, guys, welcome to the show. We have rebranded, renamed the show. It's no longer Navigating Modern Dating. We're going to be doing a show, me and TC, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel called Navigating Modern Dating. So stay tuned for that. This show is now known henceforth as the female point of view or the female POV, where we're just going to ask ladies questions about dating, their experiences, their thoughts on things, and so on and so forth. So not a lot's changing with the style, just a little bit of the name. So why don't we go around and do a quick round of intros? Let's start with Kelsey.
Hi, so I am 28. I am from New Jersey. I work as a model, actress, dancer, and consultant, basically full-on entertainer, and I am currently single.
Perfect. And we don't have to do like the green flag, red flag stuff. We do all the behind the stage, so don't worry about that. And like I'll bring that stuff along. That's something for us, not the audience. But cool. Avanya, on to you.
I am Ivania. I'm 25, living in Nashville. I'm an acrobat, so always in the air, always upside down. And that's that on that.
And currently single?
Yes.
Taking a break from dating. Like you're not even out and you're not even playing the field right now.
Bench me.
All right. We'll come back to that. Amelia. We don't have any audio coming from you. I don't know if you're muted or you might have to go out and then come back in and then so try that, see if that works. Or try to get your audio again really quick. No. So I would leave the like exit out the window and then just come right back in. You should be fine. And we'll get back to you. All right, K Rose, finish this off.
Hi. I'm sorry, I just popped in. What were we chatting about?
Sorry, we're just doing your intro. So
okay.
Where you're from, what you do, everything we talked about before.
My name is K Rose. I'm from Toronto. I work in media broadcasting, real estate, and I'm a model.
And single, yes?
Yes, and I'm single. And
purposely cryptic about your age. Wouldn't tell us even a decade. So we'll let everybody else figure that out. All right. Vanya, we're going to start with you. Actually, Amelia's back. Amelia, try your audio.
Hello.
Yeah, back. You're perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're just rounding out intros. So go ahead and do yours.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm 32 years old. I'm from California, and I am a stay-at-home mom.
And currently married, yes?
Yes, currently married.
Amazing. Okay, Vanya, we're going right at you. So you are taking a break from dating, but your big beef with dating now is this culture of being nonchalant and trying to care less. So can you walk us down that road, what you mean, and give us more details?
Yeah, for sure. I think with the rise of like people wanting to keep their options open or like date up, I think there's like a common culture of like whoever cares less has the power or like appears to care less. So like whoever's texting first doesn't have the power, or like if I don't know, just like dumb little like rules that I don't love, and I'm a very passionate person. So when I like you, you're gonna know it. You're gonna know it. And I don't like how that's seen as, oh, now you don't have the power. Now you're just wrapped around their finger, or kind of that. I don't like nonchalant. I'm very chalant.
How would you prefer that relationships are that men and women should act towards each other when they like each other? Like if a nonchalant is the problem, then how do we be more chalant? And is that a good thing?
That's a great question. How do we be more chalant? I think it's just, people who want to be nonchalant should be with other people who want to be nonchalant. But I'm trying to find a guy who's chalant towards me and vice versa. Yeah. So it's like, I don't think it's a bad thing for everyone, but it's definitely a bad thing for me to be nonchalant.
Well, what's negative about it? Like to you, are you not getting text messages on time? Do you not like feeling that you don't know where you stand? Like what's the negative aspect of it?
Yeah, I guess I don't like not knowing where I stand with them or like how high on their roster I am. Like when you can just tell that the water's going cold, someone else is usually using the water. So I like to just remind myself if they wanted to, they would. Or the other phrase that's like, they're just not into you that much. So just keep doing you and move on. Yeah.
Have you ever dated a guy or maybe gone out with a guy on a date or two who was really expressive with how he felt about you? He was very communicative. He told you right off the bat he wants to get serious, wants to get married, all that kind of thing. Like, have you run into guys like that before?
I'm from Utah, so yes, I have had that before. I think
And what's your reaction towards that?
Yeah,
generally?
I think there's a difference between going too fast and being chill on, or like,
What's the difference?
I think going too fast is making plans without checking your boxes, you know, like you have to make sure they can travel well, and you have to make sure that they are a good communicator and whatnot, right? And so I have had people within the first meeting say like, oh my gosh, you're my dream woman, like let's get married, like I see a life with you. And meanwhile, I'm thinking in the back of my head, they don't know me, they don't know my dreams, they don't know my goals, so they're basically going off of looks, I'm assuming. You know, like what are they going off of?
So what's the difference? Like, I guess what I'm trying to drill down on is like, what's the difference between a guy who's moving too fast and a guy who is just showing effort? And it's like, where's that line and where do you draw it?
It's action. Yeah. So
okay, so the guy picks you up in a Rolls Royce with a dozen roses and he's got a string quartet playing. That's effort. That's putting in a ton of effort.
Show off.
That's too much. See, but like, so how do you draw the line?
So imagine the same dinner, right? No matter what price point, the same dinner, two different guys. I would say one guy saying, oh my God, I love you. This is first date. Oh my God, I love you. You're my dream woman. I want to marry you. Like, let's just go. Let's just go to Vegas. And then the same dinner, right? Same price point, whatever. And a guy asking you questions about your life, you asking questions about their life, getting to know their morals, their values, whatnot. And then at the end of the night saying, you know, I really did enjoy that. Or, no, I don't really, didn't really like you that much. And then like making moves after that to forward or not forward the relationship. I think like now it's just like you go to dinner, a lot of like shallow, like banter, chat, funny, maybe like drinks are happening, some sexual talk. And then at the end of the night, whatever happens next morning, you both like draw back. The nonchalant starts happening because you don't want to lose your power. You don't want to look like you care more. I hate that.
So TC, I'm trying to set you up for one. I might not be setting you up for this slam dunk like I think I am, but I hope that I am. So what's the difference between a guy who is professing his love on the first date and a guy who is not doing so, or he's asking questions? Like, what's the fundamental difference between those two guys?
Well, I wanted to ask Ivania, have you ever tried really hounding a guy that you really liked that was kind of nonchalant after, you know, the first date or whatever? No? You should try it and see what happens.
No, that's scary.
See, because this is what you're saying. You're like, I don't like when guys are playing this nonchalant game, but then you're going to play it too, right?
I play.
So you're like in this battle with him, I think.
Yeah. I think
you should try hounding a guy. Like if you really like him and he seems like a nice guy, try hounding him.
What would be like 3 things that I would say though? Because I don't want to be problematic. I don't want to be like causing stress or whatever.
Right. So like after the date, so like the date goes really well. My guess is you're like waiting for him to say something.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, he's the man. He needs to make the first move. He needs to send the whatever, the aftercare, the, you know, this thing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But like, try doing it yourself. Right. Like, hey, I know you're probably busy. I had an amazing time last night, whatever, and see what he does with it.
I want to vomit.
Yeah. Well, see, the guys like in the same, the guys in the same position, right?
I think that's great. If you had a great time, you should let him know. Like, hey,
yeah,
make it known. What's the problem? Like, tell him you like him.
I love your company.
Yeah, I agree with
It's-
them. I agree with them. I feel like Avanya, I feel like I understand where you're coming from though, with the contradiction between like the guy who is professing his love at the beginning and just going too hard. He's infatuated.
I
There's
love
something about like when you're
Mhm.
infatuated with a woman, you say those certain things a little too fast and you start planning too far ahead. And it does give off red flags because at the end of the day, we need to know if we can actually build a life with you, not that you're just like infatuated us with being your dream woman and your fantasy girl. I can be 1,000 men's fantasy girl, but are you the guy who's going to be able to create stability, you know what I mean, a long-term healthy household with me? And so that's where I understand where you're coming from with the questions and a man being able to reciprocate those questions, because you want to know that you guys are on the same wavelength when it comes to thinking about your future. And if he's going to just sit here and say, oh my God, you're so beautiful, I can marry you tomorrow, you're like, okay buddy, no. So I understand that one, but you shouldn't feel fearful if you do go on a date and you do enjoy it and you think there's chemistry there. You should definitely, it is a part of like, it's kind of like that dance that we do, that tango. Like if he's going to pay for the bill and he's going to take you out on a good time, the least you can do is let him know that you had a good time and then see where he takes it from there. Exactly like TC said. But you got to keep that door open. You got to open it. If you feel like you like him, you got to open it a bit.
So
you
here's
talked about the roster, right? Like a lot of men that like you're going to be interested in. The most women are very interested in the small group of men that have a lot of options. So like, yes, they will have other options. And what makes a woman like number one in the roster or like the best option in a man's eyes is not like how much money she makes, not even necessarily like how beautiful she is. Like beautiful women are a dime a dozen. There's lots of beautiful women. But what usually makes a woman like rank number one on the roster is how into the guy she is. So like how easy she makes it for the guy, where he's not having to think like, I need to send this message so she doesn't lose. Like the guy's just he's gonna have a great time. And then he's a busy guy with a lot going on. So like he's legitimately busy. And like the one woman that he did really like that's hounding him, like that's the woman that's gonna get him.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because hounding a guy, like when I hear hounding a guy, that's like a turn off. I would say maybe communicating with him, like, you know, if you have that interest, but I don't know. If
But
I
here's,
Hounding the
but
guy-
that's
so you
that's the
think,
thing. Hold
like-
on, let me cut in, Rohit. Like, because
Yeah.
this is like, it's a really common thing that women do. Like, we'll come back, we'll come to this, Kelsey, with your ambitious comment, because that was something backstage. But it's like that's something that you would say is like, bro, back off, buddy. You don't want a guy that's hounding you, blowing you up all the time. But guys love that shit, and that's the exactly like setup that I was shooting for with TC, where it's like, women seem to have this idea that these guys, and there's a slew of guys out there that are like these master manipulators and they're these master game players. And they're just like, ooh, I'm not going to text her back too fast. I'm going to wait this many days. Most guys are not doing that, because like most guys can't fake it till you make it. The difference between the guy that's professing love and saying you're my dream girl is a guy that doesn't get laid and doesn't go out with women. And the guy that's nonchalant is that way because it works. Like we know that it actually works. I mean, there's research that's come out that shows that the more unclear a guy is about his feelings towards you, the more attractive you are to him. And two, like he's legitimately busy. Like he's got stuff going on. He does not, and he's dated and he probably is having options. So yeah, he's sitting across from the table from a beautiful woman, but he sits across the table from a beautiful woman 4 or 5 nights a week, versus a guy that you're the first girl he's ever sat in front of. He's going to crumble immediately. So it's like, that's kind of the game you're playing here. It's like, if you want the nonchalant guy, you've got to also accept the fact that that dude probably has options. He's probably got stuff going on. But I think TC's spot on. Like if you know that and you go into there knowing that this guy has other options, which you should already know because you're not attracted to guys that don't have options inherently, that should be your green flag to go and be like, hey, I got to separate myself from the pack. I got to jump in here. I got to, you said your green. See, here's where your green flag's a problem, because you're like, oh, I'm so easygoing and I'm so like go with the flow and I'm really chill. And maybe guys will see that and be like, oh, well, this other girl is like literally texting me all the time saying XYZ in my DMs and wants to bring me food after work and wants to like do all this stuff. And Ivania, I can't even get a fucking text back from this broad. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's it. I don't know. What do you think about all that?
I don't know.
You kinda have a
like
point
girls
with
have
it. You have
rosters.
to show effort. Effort has to be shown, right? It has to
Yeah.
be shown from both parties. It's a tango that you start playing when you're dating, right? So it's a part of like a woman's attributes to say your belly's fed. Like there's this infamous saying, like you can find your way to a man's heart through his stomach, you know? So it's like if this guy is busy and he has all these other things going on, and you can just think about, hey, have you eaten today? It's those little things that are going to go a long way on both sides of a relationship, right? But girls, we're a little bit more like forward and aggressive when it comes to our stomachs, so they don't really have to worry about us in that regard at the beginning. But at the beginning, for the most part, one of those gestures are like, yeah, finding out if he wants something to eat, how his day has been, little things like that, so he knows you're interested at least.
Yeah, but
Kelsey, you had something. Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, who's to say girls don't have a roster too? Who's to say that we don't have a bunch of guys courting us? Because I find
Well, we all know that you do. We know every woman on the planet has dudes full of her inbox is full of dudes.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of guys you don't actually want, you're not actually willing to entertain. Like guys, like it's much rarer for guys to have multiple options than it is for women. Like women have options like they've got dirt on their socks. But I don't mean to interrupt you. Like, continue with your point. I want you to go on with that. Like, is there something else behind that?
I mean, I just think that like girls also have multiple guys into them, and it does go both ways. Like K Rose was saying, like it needs to be like an equal party. Like you need to show effort, and he needs to give that effort back. He needs to show effort. Like it needs to go both ways. It can't just be the girl hounding him or the guy hounding the girl. Like if you like each other and you vibe, I feel like you're going to connect. It's going to be an easy flow.
But this is generally where men and women are different. They're almost the opposite in this context because, again, like I want you ladies to think about the last guy that showed you a real effort and was really, really, really over the top, or that was really trying to set up dates and see you all the time and check in and see how you were. Like, and yet you're not with that guy, right? I mean, so if that's what you're looking for a guy that's like telling you how he feels and he's telling you he wants to do all these things. If that works, why doesn't it work?
But that's not why I'm not with him. It could be something that didn't align lifestyle wise. Like a lot of times, like I said, guys can't handle my career. So we'll go out on a date or two and then they hear that I'm a bikini model and they see these pictures on Instagram. They're like, well, I don't want my girl would you stop that for me? No, I'm not going to stop that. I don't care like how much you're courting me. I'm not going to stop my career and my dreams for you.
All right. We're going to come back to that. Ivania, what did you think about my whole diatribe there? You were laughing, so I know I hit a nerve somewhere. I know something was spot on.
You hit all the nerves. Just kidding. I think I'm gonna use K Rose's thing that have you eaten today. I think that's genius. I think you need to write a book, actually. Yeah, I really liked that. What in terms of like what you said, did you think I had a problem with?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know if you had a problem with any of it. I just thought I was curious what your response was, like if you had something because you were getting ready to chime in with something. So I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't assuming you had a problem with any of it.
Yeah, no, I do agree with effort and reciprocated effort is like what the goal is, but I do think that maybe there are a type of guy that I do go after or like that go after me where they are one of those master manipulators of like, they want to see how many of their roster can be all over them. And they love that. They love that attention. They love that adrenaline. And I don't want to be a part of that because I'm good on my own. And that doesn't make me feel special. That doesn't make me feel high value. To be just a groupie, you know what I mean? And so I think I'm just so worried of feeling low value that I'd rather just not partake.
Yeah, if you don't want to be a groupie, you got to stay away from the rock stars.
Yeah.
You know? So there's like, and I don't know if it's like currently if it's the top 10% or 5% or 1% of men, but there is this segment of men, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of guys that are like in their late 20s and in their 30s. And you know, they're at the club, you know, they're on the boat, right? Like they're not looking for a woman to have kids with. Like they want hoes, right? So you just got to kind of peg those guys and stay away from them if that's not something you're interested in. But I want to kind of ask, I guess we'll ask all the ladies this a little bit. So men and women are essentially opposites, right? So like what we value and what we're attracted to is typically opposite because the way men and women are is complementary. So if a guy that I'm working with, I coach some men, calls me and says, hey, I had this first date with this woman. You know, we went back to her place after. It was great, really good chemistry. And since then, she's checked in with me 4 times yesterday and today. And today, she showed up when I got home from work with the lasagna for me. What I'm going to tell that guy is, this is a fantastic woman. But imagine if one of your girlfriends calls you and is like, hey, girl, I went out with this guy. He's texted me 4 or 5 times a day, just asking like what I'm doing. And today he showed up at my house with the lasagna. Most of you are going to be like, call the fucking police, right? So like, this is how we're opposite in this way.
You don't think that's creepy if a girl just shows up at your house? Like, what if you didn't even, it was first date. What if you don't even have your address? Like, that's so weird.
It's great. I mean,
I think it's kind of creepy on both ends.
Yeah, it is.
See, that's you think it's creepy because to you, if a guy does it, it's creepy.
I think maybe after the 3rd or 4th date and you guys have been hanging out for a while and then either party kind of shows up, okay, then it's maybe a little bit more acceptable. But right off the bat, after the first date, that's kind of intimidating.
Yeah,
see again, like
coffee,
this is, yeah. I mean,
we're talking about coffee, it's different, but like if you guys went out, went back to someone's house, sealed the deal, like had a very, you know, great night with good chemistry, like we're talking about something else now, right?
well, and also the point is too, like guys will do crazy stuff like that just to get laid, like, and not actually like the girl. They might blow you up and they might do that, but guess what? Girls aren't the same way, and girls aren't going to do that. Like girls can get laid anytime they want. So just because a girl wants to get her rocks off with some hot guy, even though he might be hot and she wants to bang him, like probably not going to text him half a dozen times, probably not going to cook for him, probably not going to show up with a lasagna, probably not going to do all that just because it's like, so when a guy sees those signals, he's like, oh, that girl actually likes me. She's into me. She is trying to separate herself from the pack. Whereas guys could do all that because they just want to sleep with you. Like they might, and this goes to like the male friends thing, even though we don't have to touch on that. Amelia, we talked about it a little bit before the show, but it's like, my stance is this, and maybe this is a pivot and maybe you can, you know, say what you will about me about this, or you can disagree. And I've always said this and I still will. A guy doesn't really know if he actually likes a girl until he's slept with her. He thinks he likes you. He thinks you're funny. He thinks you're sweet. He thinks you're all of these other things. But in reality, that is his subconscious brain that is like, I see a good looking woman that I want to throw it to. And my natural proclivity is to sleep with women. So I want to do that. After that, it's completely up to the woman to be useful enough or agreeable enough or likable enough or cool enough that he's like, oh, okay, I'll keep her around because she's now worth more to me than just like a casual hookup or a friends with benefits thing.
I don't know. I look at that the opposite.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's wild. Like,
I'm sorry.
What do you think is the opposite?
true. Like I deserve to be courted. Why are we courting the man by bringing them food? I've had guys send Uber stuff to me to my house. That's not creepy. They send me flowers to the house. They send me my favorite food because on the first or second date I told them I love Rice Krispie treats. Like that to me, like is like talking about traditional views. Like the guy should be courting the girl. And if you happen to like have chemistry and you happen to have the same views for life, like that's great. That's usually what I've noticed has kicked off relationships, because not only is he pursuing the effort and you're receiving it and giving it back, you both have the same views and values when it comes to
Because
life.
here's the deal. Every guy wants to sleep with you that goes on a date with you. Not a guy doesn't know if, like, that's the only certainty. Whether a guy wants to be with you long term or a guy sees you as relationship materially is yet to be seen, but he knows right off the bat within the first 10 seconds if he wants to sleep with you or not. So it's like, so a guy that's sending you Rice Krispie treats and sending you flowers and gifts and all that, he could be doing that under the guise of thinking he wants more, but then he sleeps with you and he realizes, oh, I actually don't. Like, that's what I'm trying to get at. A woman that will do, I'm not saying women have to court guys. I'm saying now women might have to if you want to separate yourself from the pack and you want to be in a relationship. That's kind of what it's about, right? I guess what I'm saying is, though, is like, you don't know if a guy who's dropping gifts off at your house after a first date is really likes you or he's doing this stuff to sleep with you. We have a pretty good certainty that if a woman is doing this kind of stuff and is going out of her way and sending text messages and sending gifts and cooks and all that kind of stuff right after, is that she's not doing it just to get in my pants and bounce, most likely. More than likely, she actually likes me and wants to continue seeing me in a more serious romantic sense because that's how we are and that's how we operate. Does that make more sense?
The guy has money, because I've had guys say, oh, I'm afraid that the girl's doing all this because they want my money. So that wouldn't really work in that sense.
What do you mean?
So like guys will complain and say that girls only want to be with me because I have money and because I can provide. I keep hearing this a lot from guy friends. They're like, they just want to be with me because I have money and I can take care of them. Well, yeah, that's exactly why we want to be with you. You know, and you align and we connect and we have chemistry and all that. So it's not just the fact that like we want to sleep. Like he doesn't have to.
That's the point I'm making. Like, you can do all this stuff because you like a guy, not because you just want to sleep with them. Guys that want to just sleep with you and guys that want to be in a relationship with you before they've slept with you act the exact same. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that guys act the same way towards you until you've had sex. And then you'll find out who actually likes you and who doesn't. But until then, you have no idea because you have no way of discerning either way.
But then, like, a lot of guys don't even connect emotionally is what I'm finding. Like, they will say all those things. They will do all those things. Then they get the cookie and it's like, okay, well, I got what I wanted. See ya. Regardless, like, they don't even make the effort to actually connect with you. I find that men struggle to connect emotionally and, like, on a deeper level that, like, Ivania has said before, like, that it's very surface level. Like, I want to connect with them on a deeper level and know that, like, you know, on a soul level, I can be with this person and I can talk to them about anything rather than, oh, what you have for lunch today.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, again, like, we're back to the power dynamic thing, like Ivania was talking about. Like, once a guy and a girl have slept together, like, before a guy and a girl have slept together, who has the power? The woman. Because what does she have? What a guy wants. He wants to get laid. After they've had sex, now who has the power? The guy. Because now the woman has no bargaining chip left. Like, she's now given the guy what he wants. And it's pretty safe to say, even though it's not always the case, I think it's more safe to say than not, if a girl is sleeping with a guy, she's doing so because she potentially sees a more serious thing down the line. So now she wants something more serious. He may or may not, but whether he does or not is really going to rest on if you're able to do these things that he likes, if you're able to be kind and pleasant and useful and be around and drop off lasagna. Like, if I've given you money for a service, then why would I continue? Like, I got what I wanted. The service is done. Why would I continue paying you? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then how do you decipher if they're all playing the same cards, right? How do you to see which guy is which? You have to sleep with all of them, because that's not really like my go-to. I'm not going to just sleep with this guy to see if he actually likes me. Like, I want him to be an ex.
I think that's the tough part. Like, I don't know if I have an answer. Maybe TC does. I've never had an answer for that.
Yeah, we used to have a way that did that, and it was your father would help you discern that, right? Because what you really need is a man that knows the game these men are playing, that's not going to be like overlooking, you know, like the red flags, because like you're going to overlook them because you're like really attracted to this guy. And there's like basically no man like that other than like a father, uncle, brother.
So you're saying
father's the best, obviously.
for advice. This guy's doing this. What do you think? So that's basically what we're saying. A friend, a brother, your father, ask another guy.
Not a friend. Absolutely never a friend.
Yeah, I mean,
no,
it's
not,
tricky
never
now.
a non-blood relative.
Oh.
It's tricky nowadays because, like, ideally, the way that, like, actually protects women from this, like men that just want to bang them, right, is you don't have sex with the guy until your father, like, you know, doesn't veto him. Like, your father's like, he actually has good intentions, you know, proceed.
And he brings goats and a dowry.
That's
like
hard.
He wants to talk about.
Yeah, it's hard nowadays. Like, women aren't, you know, single women that are looking for marriage aren't usually living with their fathers.
I mean,
right?
I live with my dad.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. But and so, like, this is something you could do, but the other issue that women have now too is that such a small percent of women don't give it up easy, right? Like, so a woman that is like, you need to pick me up at my house and meet my father first, that guy has like 10 other women that are just going straight to his penthouse. So like we're fighting that. Women are fighting that nowadays too.
But are they actually going to value the woman who's going to their penthouse late at night? Or are they going to value the woman who is at home with their dad, who's actually a good girl?
It depends if you've had sex or not. That's what I keep saying.
It depends if
you guys if he wants to get laid, like he's going to go path of least resistance, right? Like,
but if he wants to find a wife, he is going to put in that effort. And I have seen men, like I have gone out with guys who want a wife.
I think if the guy, like you're saying, if the guy really likes the woman, he's going to value her body a little bit more. And
it's not how it works. It's not how it works. A guy will sleep with you on the first date and also marry you. Like there's this idea.
Hold on. Do it the first day. He was genuinely into me, and he said, "You know what? I want to take my time with you. I want to get to know you, and we don't have to rush at all into this."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know your husband. I know the kind of guys that say that, and that's fine. Like I understand why he would say that, but again, that's one guy. Maybe he's the exception to the rule. I know a lot more guys that are dating than you guys do, and the thing is, like. The prevailing sentiment that a woman who gives it up on the first date is somehow lower value or somehow doesn't respect herself. Nobody's listening to that. That is honestly, it's a strategy that women tell other women so other women can keep other women single. You're like, don't give it up on the first date. And then your friend goes and gives it up to that guy on the first date. And then guess who gets the guy? Like guys mostly don't care. Guys want to get sexual access as fast as humanly possible, because that's what they're after. And it's like that. And that's what they want. Most guys, even though they want to be in relationships, they want to check the sex box early and they want to check it first. And most guys don't want to have to work for it. It's like, I have food in my fridge. Why am I going to go drive to Subway or whatever the fuck? Like, I'll take the easier path. Food is food. It's like, I have good food at home. There's good food out there. This is more readily and easily accessible to me. It doesn't make it any less quality or it doesn't make it any less valuable. So that's not really how guys think. Like I think a guy who thinks like that is weird, to be honest. I think a guy that's like, oh, she made me wait for something that I really want, so that means she likes me. A girl that really likes her guy and sees him as that guy will not make him wait for anything. And that's really what we're talking about.
I think it comes in phases though. If a guy's ready to get married, they're going to value that time a little bit more. Guys that are doing what you're saying, that just, do it on the first night, I don't think their mind is in that I'm ready to settle down mentality. Yeah. That's why they do what they do. I think when you get to a certain point in your life where you're like, okay, I'm ready to put that life aside and I want to focus on one woman, they're going to be more inclined to wait and take it slow. And that just comes in certain phases in your life and being emotionally ready in that mindset.
Why does wanting sex mean you're not emotionally ready to have a relationship?
Well, we all need that. I mean, that's what creates the bond in a marriage as well, the fire. But I feel like when you're actually ready to take that bigger commitment of marriage, you're dating more with intention rather than just dating to have a quick fun night with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't say that. Right? Like
but you were kind of saying, you're saying you're putting this. No,
I'm saying a guy doesn't know. He doesn't know what his intentions with you are until after he slept with you. He can't possibly know. He can't. That's what I'm trying to drive at. If there's notifications on the computer, let's mute that. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, a guy might think, you talk to any guy who's been laid a couple dozen times, like, hey man, were you really into this girl on the date? Did you think she was cool? Did you think you wanted to see her? Did you guys sleep together? And all that shit went out the window. They'll say, yeah. Right. Like, do we not think that, even though this is a dumb way of calling it, do we not think that post-nut clarity is a thing? Do we not think that the refractory period is a legitimate thing? When a guy isn't trying to get sex, his whole attitude towards you changes, doesn't it?
I think there is truth to both sides. I think if the woman, in my experience, meets someone for the first time and sleeps with them, that guy knows nothing about you, has no skin in the game, has no eggs in your basket, and you just gave the chip away for free. He's not going to care at all about you.
Not true.
But
it depends on how you act.
Say if
it
you
depends
were like,
on how you act.
If you were
Go
like,
ahead. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
For months, and then then you go on a date and then sleep together or do whatever you do, I feel like that's completely different than you just met 2 hours ago and now you're doing the hanky panky in some back alley. You know what I mean? It's like there's a sense of like.
But Vanya, here's the problem with that.
For one of them, and then there's
the problem with that. And I'll let TC chime in on this, but here's the problem with that. Like, the guys that will wait, first of all, like, guys will, women in general, drastically underestimate how long a guy is willing to wait for sex. And if a guy is willing to wait, the longer a guy is willing to wait to have sex with you, the less experience with women he is and the fewer options he has. And in turn, the less you're going to want that guy. And that is the problem. Like, a guy that will wait a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months to sleep with you means he's not getting it anywhere else. Or maybe he is. Maybe he's getting so much elsewhere that he's willing to wait. But obviously, generally, that's not the case. A guy is not normally going to spend his free time, effort, and resources on a girl that he's not sleeping with, when at our core, like, we're lazy creatures. We choose the path of least resistance. Like, I would much rather call if I had an option, I'd much rather have the girl that I could call and she'd come over whenever I say, than a girl that's like, I got to take her out and plan this date. And I got to wear this and I got to make sure there's a thing. Like, when a guy is waiting, to me, it's a signal of lack of options, and inherently the guy that you don't want in the first place.
Well, that's lack of romance, right? Like, that's what's broken nowadays, is the system, because that's what it sounds like to me.
Or
We've
it's
got a lot
also
broken nowadays.
What it sounds like to me as well, it sounds like just a certain age group. You know, I feel like you're talking about men in a certain age group, because the last relationship I was in, he waited. We waited, and then we ended up in a relationship for 10 years. So, but he was intentionally ready to be in something long-term, as I was I. And so that was the choice that I decided to say, this is what I'm doing. And if you think I'm worth it, you'll wait for it. And he waited. And then we had a long-term relationship, which still, even at the end of it all, when it all ended good, because the intent from the beginning was, this is what I want to do. You know what I mean? This is the person that I want to put all my eggs in.
Here's the problem.
So I'm just wondering, like, when you're talking on that accord, though, is it the age? Because I can understand, like, that mentality with a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old or something like that. But, like, a guy who's 38, 35, 37, and he's ready to settle down, like...
Doesn't matter. A guy being ready to settle down is... a guy, okay, well, it's tough for me to make this judgment because I don't know how old you are. I work with men from 20 all the way into their 60s. So I've hundreds of them. So it's not like I'm just talking to guys in their 20s or their 30s. Like, I work with guys in their 40s, 50s, and 60s all the time. The point that I'm trying to make is, like, it also just depends on a number of factors. And again, I'm talking about, like, the macro. Most guys, like, when we ask and we say this, you're like, oh, well, that's not true because my relationship personally was different. Like, obviously that's one case, and I'm talking about many cases. But the tough part is like, I don't know how old the guy is. Does the guy have kids? Like, did he not have other options? Were you the best option? Maybe he did have other options, and maybe that's fine. Maybe he was sleeping on the side. Like, there's too many variables to really know. And again, it's hard for me to say with you because I don't know how old you are. And it's like, maybe you're in your late 30s. I don't know. But if you were in your early 20s, would you be really willing and ready to get settled down with a guy who's like, I'm ready to settle down?
Well, if we
There's
want to be
so many
honest,
variables
I
at
can
play.
totally clarify those variables then.
Go for
it. To be quite honest, I was very young, like right out of high school type of thing. So that mentality, when most people are ready to be promiscuous and ready to try all their options and things like that, my mentality was somewhere else. My mentality was intentional. And when I met this person, his mentality was intentional. I don't necessarily think it matters on you being wrong or right. No, because I completely understand your perspective. But I think it falls under if somebody's intent is to want to settle down. And that's all it really comes down to, black and white. Do you want to have the intention of taking this woman seriously and building something serious with her? Doesn't
But
matter
that's
your
not
age.
all it
Doesn't
takes.
matter what if you've
Now,
had
of course
how many
it
girls
does.
before
All
or
that
nothing
stuff
or
matters.
whatnot.
A guy's intentions mean nothing if he doesn't have what it takes to back it up, though, does he? I mean, like, if a fucking homeless guy is saying, you're so beautiful, I want to marry you, that's my intention to settle down, you're not even gonna see that guy. So it's like, yeah, if a super jacked rich dude 10 years older than you that's gonna provide you an amazing lifestyle says, hey, I want to settle down, I don't blame somebody for going after that. Again, I don't
But
know
what
anything
if
about
that's
this
not
guy or
what you
whatever
want
it
to go
might be.
after? I'm not sure where you're going with that, because what if that's not the case? What if it's a young struggling person in the same age bracket as you and you two just want to take each other serious? I feel
Well, then
like
there's again
in
another
response to
slew
what
of
you're saying, it's just
variables.
intention and chemistry and connection, those all tied
Mhm.
together. And
But
that's
nobody
all that
can
it
define
matters.
what
It
that
doesn't matter if
means.
he's rich, doesn't matter if he's poor, doesn't matter anything. Like if you find that your heart loves this person and you want to build a life with this person and that person wants the same thing,
But that's
your
all
both
based on
intentions
feelings, right?
align.
That's all based
But
on
those
feelings.
intentions, those feelings and those attentions, all of that
Yeah, but
align
feelings can be
together.
wrong, can't they? Like if
But they
feelings could
still
be,
align.
what do
It's
you
a
They
mean?
still
lot
align. And if they align, then that's how
But you
you're going
can
to
be
want to
wrong,
structure
can
your
you not? Like,
relationship.
but you could be wrong. Your
Everybody
feelings
could
are
be wrong.
no, but like what I'm saying is like your feelings could be wrong and they could be right. So why is the feeling like chemistry or whatever that means, like chemistry and how you feel in your heart, if that feels good, then you should do it. Right?
Well, because
That's
that's in
what we're
response to
going.
what you were saying in regards to like, oh, if he was a homeless guy, you would say no, but if he's a rich guy, you would say yes. What I was saying in response to is it doesn't
But that's
matter who the
true.
person is. If you
But
feel
that's
like
a
you
lot. But
connect
that
with
is
that
true.
person and you both
You
have the same intentions for your future, your relationship, then
but you
that's how the
would pick
relationship's going to go.
but you would pick a millionaire over a homeless
Oh, I
guy.
can't
Like
hear you
that's the
now. I'm not
point.
sure it went mute.
I mean, it honestly, like, yeah, you're not gonna pick a homeless
I'll
guy,
be
right?
back.
You're gonna tell him to get his shit together. But I agree with her. It's the chemistry. Like if I'm going on a date with a guy, I don't care how rich he is. If I can't have a deep conversation, if he's not willing to actually, like if I can't picture my life with this dude and we can't come into some agreement where we can mix lives and my lifestyle is going to work with his lifestyle, I don't care. It's not going to work. I did just do that. I did just date somebody who had money, who could provide, but he couldn't get deep with me. He couldn't, like, he just wanted me to be his piece and I couldn't just be like a Barbie doll there. I needed a deeper connection.
So let's talk about that because it seems like
before we
go ahead,
jump
please.
in,
Please.
so I want to kind of get to the root of this idea, like really what's going on with this idea of like I'm gonna make a guy wait so he thinks I'm a good option, and like why would you not? So kind of like the devil's advocate part that kind of shines a light on how this works is why would you not then not sleep with any man until he marries you? Right? That's like all the way on the other end of this idea. And the answer is the guys that are going to stick around for a year or two getting to know you without sex are fucking dorks typically. Like the guys that will do that, you don't like that much. So this whole thing is basically like a sliding scale, right? So on one end, you have guys that will wait 2 years to sleep with you and will marry you first. And you don't like those guys pretty much at all. They don't have other options. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing this. And then on the other end, you have guys that if you don't come over to their house, they're not going to continue talking to you. So as you move down the scale, you're going to like on one end are the most attractive guys and on the other end are the least attractive guys. So if you make like a 3-date rule for guys, you're gonna like not be able to screen as many super attractive guys, because a whole big chunk of them are going to be like, I'm not waiting 3 dates because these other women aren't going to make me do that. So this is basically like what it does is you limit your options of the most attractive men. And like the guy, like there are plenty of guys that with all the ladies here that will be like, you tell them I have a 3-date rule, and they'll be like, no problem.
Done. Make it 10. Make it 20.
They don't care, but like you have less access to the like the hyper attractive men, like the top 10-20% of men.
My experience is you never tell them the rule. Never ever tell them your rule. You just stick to your own values and don't let them, you don't have to explain yourself at all.
Do you have a rule, or you just when it's timing and when it feels right?
Mine is I don't hold that so he respects me. I hold that until I respect him.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Because God forbid, imagine like my worst fear is like being attracted to a guy who's so ugly, all he has is his looks, right?
Yeah, I would rather go for a less attractive guy, exactly, than a really hot guy.
All he has is money. You know, he has to be like very dimensional and also not freaking boring and what makes me want to stab my eyes out.
It also comes down to your morals and intentions. It's like if you're, like I said, if you're dating with intention and you have a set list of morals that you want to follow by a guy and you align with that, say your morals are wanting to wait till marriage and you find a person that wants to wait till marriage, I feel like through and that's the main part, you have to have communication. You can do that. There's a lot of successful marriages that come out of being celibate during dating. And that just, you need to have communication. So like if you want to do the 3-day rule without doing anything after 3 dates, then that's something that needs to be said in the first date. You know, I'm not wanting to do anything with you until I get to know you better. And then maybe we can be more intimate. But that's just something that has to be said in the beginning from the get-go.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a lot of trouble threading the needle. I mean, I think if you're going to do that, then you have to rely on something like the Bible or Christianity or some sort of other moral philosophy that is conflicting with human nature in biology. Because again, like what we're saying is it's like the guys that will do that and the guys that will be on board with that either have some sort of moral compass that doesn't come from within, or their behavior is being driven by the results, which is they're less attractive than a guy you probably can get on a date with. So as long as you're okay with that, as long as you're like, I'm willing to lower my thresholds and my standards of attractiveness and how I feel about this particular guy, if he'll do these other things, that's fine. But we routinely see that's not the case, because the guys that usually meet your attractiveness threshold, these guys that you're viciously and have the hots for and you're attracted to, those guys are usually not the ones waiting. And the guys that you're not attracted to, you don't even see them, because like an unattractive man is just invisible. I think that's where the problem lies. Like there's this weird no man's land where, again, you want the attractive guy that's this entire jack of all trades, and that guy just doesn't exist. Like he's a myth. So
are you admitting to that men don't really have morals then?
No, I'm saying that men. What do you mean?
Well, I don't think there's anything. Christian people or have that moral. So are you saying that for all those other men, do they not have a standard for themselves? If sex is the only
it's free for them to choose. Yeah, but I'm saying it's free for them to choose, and it's
if we don't agree with stuff. Like if he tells me he doesn't like cats, well, I'm sorry, I have cats, so I'm not going to sleep with you. What's the point? We're never going to date. We're never going to go forward. Like I need to make sure that I know certain things about this guy before I even think about sleeping with him. Because
Kelsey, what if Chris Brown or Chris Hemsworth or whoever the hot dude in Hollywood is right now was like, hey, I want to take you to bed He's your celebrity crush. No one will ever know about this. You'll never be embarrassed by this. But guess what? I don't like cats. You're going to tell that guy to go fuck himself.
I'm not going to sleep with him. No. I would rather.
Those men are probably not wanting to get married.
I don't think
I'm talking about celebrities, like the top 1%
myself, I
shelf.
don't give a shit. It doesn't matter celebrity. We're regular people, regardless if you're a celebrity or not. I don't look at a guy that way. I look at it how he treats a woman, what his standards are, what his morals are. Do we align in life? Like, do you want cats? If you don't even want cats, well, why am I going to sleep with you? You're wasting my time. I could just
There's a billion guys out there that love cats.
What?
There's a billion guys out there that love cats.
Yes, but I'm just saying that's just like a broad example, like, right? So if a guy, like we were talking about career, traditional things, like if they can't handle my career and they're going to tell me I can't do bikini shoots anymore, I'm not going to sleep with that guy because I've already got my answer. That guy is not going to fit my lifestyle. He's not going to fit my mold, and he's not going to be the guy that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with because we do not align in certain areas.
I hear you, Kelsey. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying the problem is you want a guy that loves cats and is going to let you wear whatever you want to wear for your work and is going to let you and never tell you no and is going to let you live the life that you want to live. And you are not going to be attracted to that guy. Like, you're not going to want to be with him because those dudes literally grow on trees. There's a million dudes out there that could be seeing this, that it's like, give me Kelsey's phone number. I love cats. She can wear whatever the hell she wants at work. I'll pay for everything. But the chance of you actually liking that guy and being attracted to him is almost nothing.
I mean, I don't agree.
That's the problem.
I find it attractive. I find it attractive when a guy makes an effort. I find it attractive when a guy like is into the same thing as me.
You like when a guy that you already find attractive makes an effort.
Boom.
I disagree because in my past with dating, I have dated a guy that I wasn't initially attracted to because of the effort that he made, because he persisted, and because he was generally like a really, really nice guy and he had a great heart.
So where is he now?
Yeah, what happened there?
Well, sometimes there's other things that happen with that.
Like, there's always other things. But I never hear women say, hey, this beta dude.
But I gave it a shot, is what I'm saying.
But it's like, this is always the case, right? Though, like, honestly, what you just said proves us right, because you're still not with the guy and your goal is to be married. Like, you want to have, you said you don't want to, you may not want to have kids, but you want to be married. So like, that was like what we keep saying keeps ringing true, where if you're not attracted to that guy, like, he's invisible to you. And those things don't inherently make him attractive. What do you disagree with?
I don't necessarily agree with that in the sense of, like she said, she dated the guy. It doesn't matter the reasons why they're not together right now. There might have been completely other reasonings as to why they did not get married.
Yeah, but my point is, K-Rose,
right?
And I apologize for interrupting so much. I know I'm doing it a lot. The point that I'm trying to make is I've never heard a woman on this show or otherwise who has said, I wasn't initially attracted to him and he just won me over with his legendary persistence, and I'm still with him and we're married and we have an amazing relationship and we have 12 kids.
That's literally my story.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say.
But different circumstances.
I wasn't attracted to him at
different
first.
Circumstances.
We were just friends.
No,
beginning.
Different circumstances. Yeah, different circumstances. So it's different.
Well,
there's other factors at play.
I think it goes back to, again, as the whole topic of intention when it comes to dating and relationships, because I'm a firm believer on relationships start with friendships. You can't have a successful relationship long term if you're not going to put the fundamentals of having a friendship down. Mm-hmm. If you guys can't sit down and laugh and make jokes and smell each other's stinky feet or something and fart in each other's faces and just hee hee ha ha together, then you're not friends. If you're going to sit here and be like, oh, I love having sex with this person, but I can't stand the fact that they leave their pants on the floor in the corner, you're not friends. You know what I mean?
It just means so you don't like
if you want to have a serious relationship and you want to have a fruitful relationship, the basis of that has to be a friendship. And from friendships, you can start friendships with plenty of men. And then one man who decides to say he's checking off those boxes as time goes by, you start being like, you know what? Shit, the six-pack I thought I was really falling for, I don't really care about that no more. The
Yeah.
tall, dark, and handsome that I thought I needed, I don't really care about that anymore. You could have a guy where you could have a thought in your mind where you're like, oh, I want 6 foot Prince Charming. And this guy friend you have is only 5'8". You guys go out one night and he ends up defending you to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, I never thought this man would defend me like that. That is such a turn on. I never thought he would turn me on that way. Now he just went 10 points up on the attractive level. You know what I mean? Because of his actions and the things he's done. So I don't think that attraction is the number one basis to having a long-term successful relationship. I think friendship is. And when you start with a friendship and you go from there, then you're able to make these types of claims of, oh, is it successful or is it not? But if you're talking on the terms of, oh, I'm just attracted to you because you're 6 foot and you have a six pack and I want to have sex with you, obviously you're not going to have a successful relationship off of that. Nobody would.
I am going to interject here. I think within the last 5 years, every single situationship, relationship, whatever for me has, I'm so sorry, has started from like a romantic, intimate connection, not friendship. I feel like every single friendship that previously has been friends first and then romantic, it's not the same. There's not the same attraction there. And I think maybe that's my priorities of like, I need them to have my same healthy lifestyle. I need them to be super ripped and shredded because I'm that way. You know, it's like, maybe it's me being shallow, but I do think that coming from a romantic connection and moving towards friends has been way more successful for me. Yet again, I am single, so what do I know?
Well, but like this whole idea of friendship. I mean, go ahead, man. I got something. I'm going to go on a huge tailspin if I go. So go ahead.
I will say it's very important to be friends first.
I have some friends watching.
I disagree with all of you, though, by the way. Like, I think men should not be friends with women ever at all for any reason. And there's no benefit to them to it whatsoever. But yeah,
but if you're going to be together forever, you kind of have to be their best friend.
No, I disagree. A woman is like, a woman's my woman. She's not my best friend. Go ahead, Kelsey.
But
you gotta bounce off.
My friends who are watching literally wanted me to say, "Why do you hate women?"
Yeah, it's fun.
That's the vibe.
I get that a lot. Yeah, but I don't. So just
I will say, me and my husband, we always call each other best friend, lover. You know, we genuinely are each other's best friend, and that's also something in our couples counseling that they told us is that continue to date each other, never stop dating each other, continue to be each other's best friend. And that's usually what creates healthy marriages. And I've even asked my parents a while back, like, what makes your guys' marriage 40 plus years so successful? Because my mom said, that's my best friend. That's my lover.
Yeah, your mom said that, not your dad.
But they're successfully married.
My dad has also said that
Kelsey,
too. If
you got to go. Love that. Tell your friends to come on the show. I don't hate women. They can come on the show. I would love to talk to them. Awesome. Tell them to hit up Spencer. Yeah, I'd love to have them on.
Would you not want your wife, though, to be also your best friend that you can laugh with and have fun with?
My wife is my wife, but why does she have to be why does somebody has to be my best friend for me to have fun with them and laugh with them? That's insane. Is my mic on? Am I good?
No, sometimes it clicks in and out. You have to sign out.
How am I now? Am I good? No, I shouldn't have that problem. I'm the host. That might be Amelia.
I can hear you. I don't know why they
can't. I didn't know people were talking to me. If Amelia, just pop back out and pop back in if you can see my hand motions.
Yeah, you might have to.
Yeah, this is like a lot of times I found when women are saying, like,
I think I need to hop off and hop back on. I can't hear anything anymore.
So you hear this a lot. Women are like, I want to get to know the guy. And really, I think what this whole idea, like, you know, oh, I want a guy that I can be friends with. Like, really what women are saying is they're not only concerned with how a guy looks, right? And we know this is true. Like, women want a guy that's exciting, that's fun, that's a little bit dangerous, right? That can defend them, that can provide, that's captivating, that takes them to do cool things. So, like, this is what women are looking for with, like, this idea of a friend, right? Like, you want to see that he's more than a pretty face. Because what makes a man attractive to a woman is more than how he looks, right? But it's not like women aren't that concerned with a man's like You know, it's like his compassionate and soft side, and like this side, like his vulnerability. Like that's not what women are looking for when they want to like be friends with a guy to see if they're into him. Like what they're looking for when they want this deeper connection is like, is he more than whatever, like a himbo, right? Like, is he exciting? Can he lead? Does he take me to do fun stuff? Can he read my mind? He knows what I want to eat and what I want to do, right? Like these are attraction traits. And men are like much more concerned with what a woman looks like than women are with what a man looks like. Like there's more things that are going on that drive women's attraction.
I think if a man wants to be my best friend and vice versa in a relationship, I think I would get the ick because I love having my friends and I love them having their friends, you know, and it's like we can also have our friends, right? But I don't think if you two are each other's best friend, a lot of BS gets loaded onto the relationship. And I know like men don't super vent to each other like women do, but I do think it's super important. I have been in relationships where they only have cousins or they only have their brothers, right? And it's really important in my experience for men to have outside relationships, you know, their guy friends, their homies, to like have a community, a sense of community and like a role in their life. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think best friend though, I think you might be thinking of the term of best friend of like people being like stuck to each other and not having anybody else in a social circle, which that obviously could be detrimental to anybody's social mentality, because you can't just have one friend. You can't just put all of your weight and everything on one person. Nobody is meant to be somebody else's wagon and carrying all their weight, right? So I feel like the term of best friend when it comes to being in a relationship with your partner is that you're comfortable with them. You're safe to speak to them about all the things that you want to talk about. You're safe to tell them like, hey, I'm gonna go hang out with my girls. And if you're out with your girls or you're not having a good time, you can safely say, hey babe, I'm coming home. Let's put on a movie tonight. Let's hang out. And he's like, yeah, I'm down for that. Like that type of relationship, a male and female best friend relationship in a marriage or a unity is a different version of a best friend versus like having a bestie as a girl or whatnot. Like there's different versions of it.
What is the different version? Because like that seems like a very surface level response what you gave.
Well, the different version would be in a sense of, okay, girls can get together. You can call your girlfriend up and be like, hey, bestie, let's sit on the phone and gossip for hours. We could literally gossip about the same story 10 times over in 10 different ways and we'll be okay with it. You're not going to take that to your husband or your male best friend partner and sit there and say you're going to gossip 10 hours with him. No, what you can do though with him and what that type of relationship would look like is you'd come to him and say, oh my gosh, hun, so I was out with the girls tonight. This was the drama that happened. So happy to be home with you. He'd be like, wow, that's crazy. Okay, cool. Put his little 1-2 and you guys would move on. There's no sense of having to go.
But again, like,
deep
where's the deep conversation? You're like, hey, this girl's a bitch. Okay, let's put on Netflix. Like, I feel like we're throwing around the term best friend very casually here. And it's like, I haven't heard an example yet where it's like, how is this man your best friend versus just a different, you can be like, yeah, I think it's perfectly fine to say, I talk to my husband about things that I don't talk to my girlfriends about and vice versa. But that doesn't, it's not a hierarchical thing. It's a difference. It's not a up or down kind of deal. And like, that's how we're kind of making like best. It means top, means one. You can't have three best friends. Like you've got your top person, your best friend, and then everybody else.
Why so it's fine to just say it's different. Friends?
Because best implies one. What are there 3 dogs that win best in show at Westminster? Can you have 3 Super Bowl? Can you have 3 teams win the Super Bowl? Like best means one. It means number one. It means the winner. It means the top.
Okay, but you could change meanings of words. Different categories. You could have a best male friend. You can have a best female friend. You can have a best family member.
Listener, my best sandwich man. I could have best girls. I could have my best sandwich makers.
I think the conversation here is perspective. This is based on perspective. Like I said, responding to Ivania, what I was responding to Ivania on was she had a different perspective on what best friend was, and I was just explaining to her there's a different version of best friend when it comes to a male partnership.
But do you understand?
Right? There's no hierarchy at all.
Of course,
there's separate relationships. I'm sure Amelia has a best friend who's a female, As well as
Yes.
her partner, who's her best friend as well, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make any
Yes.
sense.
Okay.
Like,
But best friend
even
in a
name somebody in the
marriage,
same category doesn't make sense to me. Like, we don't get to change the meaning of words just because we don't know how to explain the differences.
Nobody's
Like,
changing the meaning of
it's
words. What
different
you just
we
admitted
are.
to,
because
But we
though,
can
is that
move
you
on because
can't
this isn't
have
an
a best
English
in
channel,
different
so that's fine.
categories.
I will
That's
say
what we're
though,
splitting.
best friend
Yeah,
in
but that
my
doesn't make any
marriage, when
sense.
we call each other best friend, it's because we live together. We're together 24/7. You know, it's more like the intimacy of the one union. You know, I do have my girl besties, but him, when we call each other go
So
best
who
friend,
wins? So who wins? Let's do a little game then. Who wins? Your girlfriends want you to do one thing. Your guy says you're doing something else. Who are you going to listen to?
my husband.
Who? Okay, so there you go. So there is a hierarchy when it comes to this. There are levels to it, right? Like,
Well,
not
yeah, of course. That's my husband. I'm going to honor
sure.
him and
Well,
listen
and
to him.
I
so
think that's a
Amelia,
different
here's
question from
Yeah, that's a
being
different
best friends. That's a
question,
completely
though.
different question.
I don't think
so
so.
Amelia, here's where this becomes problematic. This idea of best friends, right? So you said yourself, like the person you're seeing for couples counseling said, don't forget to continue to date each other, right? So this is like what happens a lot of the times when you do get into that like best friend attached at the hip, always together energy. And like a lot of times where that comes from is it's really hard to show up. Like for men, it's really hard to show up as that guy for a woman every day, 24 hours a day. And same thing for a woman. Like it's hard for a woman to put on like this mask we wear when we're around certain people because we want to do what's best for them, right? We want to please them. It's hard for a woman to keep that up as well. So like if you guys are always around each other, like someone's taking the dump with the door open, the other person's getting a whiff, like this is going to negatively impact the relationship, right? So like
How
I
is
don't
that's
sit
not
on
a
my
fact.
man while he's
if I have
taking
to
a dump
answer
on the toilet.
smelling
I think that's
your
more of an
spouse's
opinion-based comment of what you're
impacts the
making there.
relationship.
I think it depends on the relationship
No.
and what you consider your comfortability level in a relationship.
Can I drop a bomb?
Please.
Drop it, girl.
Well, I have been
Yes.
married before. I got married when I was 20, was married till 22, right? So I do know what Amelia is talking about, how I am used to grilling out with my ex-husband, right? However, I think it was detrimental to the relationship after the fact because I realized that I was replacing a lot of people in his life. What I just said, where he wasn't going outside of the relationship for community and social role and purpose, right? And then I realized that that too comfortable, like where sexual attraction started leaving the relationship because shitting with the door open and like not like just like slobbing out, you know what I mean? And I think it imploded the relationship, and eventually I ended up leaving because he ended up being gay. But I think the start was like we started grilling out, and I was like, "This is great" at first, but then I was like, "This is a little too much, like bestie." And
Yeah.
so it makes sense now. However, I am strongly against being besties with my man. Like,
Girl.
I have my girls, you have your bros. Like, let's date each other. Let's continue to stay sexually attracted to one another. I'm not going to burp in front of you. I'm not going to fart in front of you. If it happens, it happens. We laugh about it, whatever. But like, I don't want you to shit on my chest, like it is just too
No,
close.
that's too far.
Vanya, this
No,
is a
nobody wants
family
that.
show. My
I'm
God.
sorry.
So what I was hearing when you were saying like, your perspective on like a best friend with your partner in your marriage and seeing that he didn't have other social groups and you guys were kind of being codependent on each other. I think that's a different version. That's different from a best friend. Okay?
Yeah.
Like having a relationship that ends up being a codependency where you basically are just suffocating each other and relying on each other and putting everything on each other and canceling out your outer world just to have the whole world just you two. That's codependency. Nothing's healthy about that at all. There's nothing healthy about that. So if that was in your relationship, I'm sorry to let you know that was not a healthy relationship to be in, because you should never be codependent. You have to still be your independent self while still being able to manage and navigate other relationships around you. And so having your partner, going back to that, as a best friend doesn't mean that you need to be dependent on them for everything. Being comfortable with them opening the door while they're pooping doesn't mean that you're automatically going to lose your attractive level. That's just more of a personal preference, right? Like, I'm comfortable with my partner doing whatever and having the door. I don't care. Like, I'll watch you do the most I don't care, because once I'm locked in with you and I know you're a human, I'm a human, we're human, we're going to do these things. It doesn't bother me. But to some other people like yourself, if burping around him and farting around him bothers you, that's just your personal preference. But I just wanted to clarify, like, I think where you're getting things mixed up is the level of codependency versus best friend, right? Codependency is not healthy. Best friend can be healthy.
This is all just semantics. Like, we're just talking words in circles here. I mean, I guess the only thing that I would comment on this is this. Like, what you see in a best friend, your husband, you can confide anything, you can be vulnerable, you can be open and honest about your fears, your uncertainties, your insecurities, and that guy is going to care for you more. He's actually going to be maybe more attracted to you, that you're so open and honest with him, that you trust him in his leadership, that with this information, you flip the coin around the other side, and he treats you like a best friend who he can confide in and be vulnerable about his fears and talk about his uncertainties and how he's not sure of what he's going to be able to do about XYZ situation. You want to run for the hills. Maybe not the first time. Maybe the first time it's like, oh, okay, that's really tough. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get there. But on a long enough timeline, if a guy treats you like guys treat their best friends, as they should, and because guys should have guy best friends, because I'm sorry, ladies, you'll just never know what it's like to go through the world as a man. So you just can't give us the advice or the feedback that we need, because you'll never have that lens of experience. So we need to go to guys for that. And so when guys are going to open up to women, huge issue, huge problem. Weakness, vulnerability, uncertainty, all things that ultimately turn women on.
You have to have a level.
You're joking. I don't know.
No, I'm 100% serious. I can't believe that you would think I'd be joking about this.
But what you're saying is a joke, though. Like, dude, you're saying at the end of the day, you're trying to sit here and say, oh, it would be a big problem if a guy decided to say he wants to open up to his girl about how his day been and how he's going through his daily stresses. Whether she has a solution for him or not, he should still be comfortable.
That's what you said.
That is what you said. And you said, oh, if we women hear too much about it, then we're going to run for the hills. Why
I want you to listen to vows. What do both of the people say? You're my best friend.
Failures.
You're my lover. You're everything. That's what most people say in their vows too.
Yeah, and 50% of marriages end in divorce. So who cares about vows?
I will bet if you get to that point where you ever say vows, you're gonna add that in there.
Why do you care about vows when 50% of marriages get divorced? People get divorced 50% of the time anyway. People break their vows all the time. Who cares?
And she's not talking about the vows specifically. She's saying the things you're saying, the words.
Yeah, they mean a lot to you, but they might not mean a lot to the millions of people that get divorced every single day. So, like, who cares about vows? That's a whole different topic,
though.
The vast majority of people.
And that's sad. If you're gonna say vows, you better mean it. If you're gonna say till death to us part, it better be death to us part.
Why are you lecturing me? I haven't
been
divorced.
But I'm just saying in general, you're saying that it's wrong to be a best friend, and I'm just saying in general, when most people even say vows, they literally say, "You're my best friend. You're the person that I want to be forever with forever." Yeah. So
I think those guys
I'm just trying to clarify that.
Yeah, I think those guys are losers. What I'm saying is this:
my husband is not a loser.
The way you want to confide in your husband. If he were to confide in you the exact same way, you would lose attraction for him. And you would not feel safe or protected or whatever it might be. This happens literally all the time. Like, it happens all the time. I've seen it hundreds of times. Where imagine he came home and said,
I want to marry you, or I want to be with you, but I don't want to talk to you on a regular basis.
You can keep interrupting, but I'm still talking.
That makes no sense.
A guy comes home and says, I lost my job. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have a plan. We are down to our last $1,000 in the savings account. I don't know what we're supposed to do. I just need you to hold me and tell me everything's going to be okay so I feel better. You're going to be
No,
like,
sometimes
totally.
men need
Sometimes
that.
it's
If
like
a
that.
man can't come to his own partner and say that, then maybe they haven't built that strong foundation of communication.
Exactly. Because contradictory to that would be, so he loses his job, doesn't tell his partner that he lost his job, lets the house go bankrupt. You guys are losing everything. Then the girl sitting there, the wife or the partner, she's like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? He's not being open and transparent so you guys can come to a solution and solve it before everything blows up. All because what? Because the man thinks he can't lay his problems out to his woman. That makes no sense what you're saying.
It makes perfect sense.
So
You're just
Hey, Rose,
adding
real
things to
quick.
what I'm saying and then arguing against it, which is an interesting. Just, I guess that's fine.
So
Real
then,
quick,
would
Abby.
you hide things from your woman?
No, that's not what he said. So
But
this
that
is the
is hiding
difference.
it.
Okay.
If he
Hold on,
can't
TC.
come and be honest,
Hold on. He's
hey,
gonna
if I
explain it.
lost my job,
He's going to
then
explain it.
you obviously don't have good communication. So if you were married and you lost your job,
Amelia,
would not
he's
purposely
going
tell
to
your wife.
explain it. He's going to
So
explain
here's
it.
the difference, right? If the man comes home and he's like, hey, babe, this is what happened at work, lost the job, but I've applied to 3 jobs since then. And like, we're just going to have to make these sacrifices. And I've got this plan. So don't freak out, right? That's what a woman wants. And like, if he comes home a crying mess, what do I do? We're going to lose the house. That's what makes a woman go, ew, I need to get away from this fucking guy. So,
No, that's crazy. Real life shit happens. Real life shit happens to everybody.
and you
Why
want a
would you
man
not
that
feel
can handle
comfortable
it.
For a
enough to
man to
open
say,
up and
hey, I
say,
don't
like,
know what to do right now.
yeah, like real life stuff happens to people. So at the end of the day, if something just happened to you and you don't know what to do about it, and that person you feel comfortable enough and safe enough to confide in them with it, why not?
So at
There's
what
no
point?
ill
at
behind
what
You
that.
point?
don't
So how
want
long
a guy
does
that
this go
has
on?
no clue what to do when he
How
loses
long
his
The guy
job.
could have
go
been
on?
the guy could have had everything put together. He could have had his whole life mapped out and he had the best job, all the money coming in, the Rolls Royce, the big house, everything, and just lost it in 24 hours. He still has to feel comfortable enough to come to his wife and tell her that.
Highly,
He's
highly,
gonna
highly,
tell her
That's
that.
highly,
what
He's gonna
comes
tell
with
her
the
what the
marriage.
plan is.
Sometimes
highly
you won't
unlikely.
know what to do.
He's gonna tell her
And
what the
that's
pl-
what
okay.
accepting
So
your
let's-
partner is.
So
Better
how
or for
long?
worse.
So how long do you accept this? He comes home on day 1. Let's say 5 days later, no progress, hasn't done anything, still crying, still complaining. How long is his grace period going to be? A week, a month, a year? How long does
That
he get?
depends on the person's mentality, and that also depends on the partner's patience, right? Because people
Yeah.
mourn differently, right? And you can still mourn the loss of a job, you can mourn the loss of a vehicle, you can mourn things. So if somebody needs to take their time to cry that their whole life just blew up and
How
imploded in front of their
long?
face,
Answer the
they can take their
question.
time. Well,
Answer
that
the question.
depends on
How
the
long?
person personally, right?
On
And how
you.
invested you
How
are
about
with
on
that
you?
person.
Because we're talking you. So how about you? How long are you going to
For
wait? Your guy
me,
comes home, who's your provider, loses everything. You got no money coming in. 30 days, like a week later, he's made no progress. On day 7, he made it 30 days. What if he says, I need 6 months? Like, where do you draw the line?
well, if I'm with him and I love him and I can handle it financially, then I'm with you for 6 months until we figure something out. Now,
What
after
if
those
he's
6 months,
6 months later, he's nothing?
if 6 months later you turn around, you want to be a couch potato and you don't want to contribute anything and your whole personality and mentality has shifted, then that's a different conversation. But if 6 months later you're still driven and ambitious about getting a job and you're still putting yourself out there,
There
you're
it
just
is.
not
You just
getting
said it.
any
You just
jobs
proved our
and you're just
point.
not getting anything, then I'm still holding it down for you. At least
Because-
you're trying.
K-Rose, you just proved our point. We just said you want a guy who's trying to make things happen, not a guy who has no idea what to do, who doesn't even know what the next step is. It's perfectly fine I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but to say I have no idea on what to do next, I don't even know like what to do with myself. I'm a helpless little child. Mommy, please save me. Like,
He might
that is
feel that the
crazy.
first day he got fired.
Nobody
But the next day, if he's trying, or
So
a
he gets
week
one
later,
day.
or a
He
month
gets
later.
1 day.
I
So as
know
long
she's
as he's
just giving it as
trying,
an
so
example.
as long as he's trying, you like that. That's what we're trying to establish.
I
here.
will let
That's
him
our
feel what
point.
he feels the minute he gets fired. He might think, I don't know what to do. But
Oh,
after
it's
a
great that
day
you
or
allow
two,
him to feel that
he's
way.
I mean, yeah, everybody's allowed to have a space of
I'm just
feeling
poking.
hurt, feeling disappointed, you know?
I'm just
But if
poking.
it's
The one-
after
There's a difference between a man being like, woe is me, I'm a child, you are my mommy type energy, versus like, I hope my man feels safe enough to tell me his deepest, darkest, whatever. But I hope he is intelligent enough and a go-getter enough to know what the F to do after maybe indulging some of that information, and not being like, feel bad for me, being my feminine, right? Like, he should not be curling up in the corner, because, you know, I would hope he would have a little bit more of a backbone than that, and not, you know, crying in front of me for days and days and days and days and days and dragging it on. I know people go through hard things. I've seen it. I've been through stuff. But I truly think that there is a difference between handling cancer, death, like loss of children, all of the worst things that could happen in life, is still stuck in your masculine. And I've seen it happen. My grandpa has done it. And I just feel like we're getting a little soft with allowing our guys to get a little too soft.
Facts.
Like dealing with things.
I want to say something really quick and to go to TC really quick. I want to clarify something, because I think maybe the reason that there's so much pushback on this, because there often is, it's not just you ladies. Women push back on this. It's one of their favorite things to push back on. I'm not making any moral judgments. I'm not trying to back women. And that's why like the comments about you hate women are so funny, because all I'm doing is talking about what naturally occurs in the wild for the most part, because we know about human behavior. We know how people act. We understand what makes them attracted to each other. There's like insane amount of data and volumes of research on this. So we have a pretty good idea of what drives people together. I don't care if a woman loses attraction for a guy for whatever reason. I don't care if she wants to be a gold digger because she thinks because she wants money. I don't care. Like, I don't pass moral judgments. I'm just saying these are the things that will occur based on what we know about biology and what drives men and women together, and what women want from men subconsciously and what men want from women subconsciously. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, Amelia K. Rose, you're bad women because you wouldn't listen to your guy and he's not allowed to come to you and be vulnerable. I'd be like, I don't blame you, because it's perfectly natural for you to want to be safe and protected and led by a guy, and a guy that's got his shit together. And it's perfectly acceptable and okay that you don't want a guy that can't figure out a plan or a path forward, because guess what? You don't want to die. And women are better. The one thing women are best at is self-preservation. And it's a survival mechanism. It's not a moral thing. It's not a negative thing. It's, how do I stay alive? I got to use this because I can't use these. I got to be smart. I got to read between the lines. And that's why women are such better covert communicators and over communicators. And that's a whole another rabbit hole. So I just want to make that point clear. I'm not making moral judgment. You can still disagree if you want, but I'm saying, like, I'm not pointing fingers and saying gotcha and saying, yeah, women are fucking assholes because they don't want to listen to a dude blubbering in the corner about how he has no plan.
Yeah, anyway. I love when we get, you know, like Ivania just said, like, I don't want
she nailed it.
to be with a guy that's like being a sniveling fucking idiot when something goes wrong, because I think that, like, she's a real one for saying that, because this is what I think most women actually believe. But they think saying that is going to be like, they're an asshole, they're not caring, right? But like, this is totally fine. Like, if there's two options for the man in your life, option one is he loses his job, comes home a mess, and doesn't know what to do, and is crying in your arms. And option two is he comes home and says, hey, babe, this is what happened. Don't worry. I've got it. I've got a plan. Like, option two is better. We all, like, every woman basically is going to be like, yeah, I would rather him be like option two. Now, you might say, like, he's such an amazing man that if option one happens, I won't leave him. I'll be there for him. That's fine. But like, if option one happens every other month, you're fucking out the door, right? Like, you'd rather option two be something that was happening more frequently than option one.
Yeah, but if option one did happen, and it actually did happen in my life, my husband lost his job. He did come to me and said, what am I going to do next? And I'm like, well, let's figure it out. I know you're gonna have a job lined up, so just relax. We can, I know you're gonna put yourself out there again. So I mean, it's okay to feel lost right now. We're human. We don't have everything together. We're gonna stumble and we're gonna fall. And eventually he got a job. And that was that. But it's not like I want to be like, ew, babe, like you're such a turnoff now that you can't provide in the season, you know? Just like the marriage counselor, sometimes the man's gonna, have to be 200%, and then sometimes the woman's gonna have to be 200%. But that's what marriage is. Sometimes your partner is going to lean on you in seasons. Sometimes you're going to have to lean on your partner in seasons.
But it's not
Well,
an
and this-
life. His job. It's not an you that he lost his job. That's not the you factor. The you factor is how he handles losing his job, or how he handles.
I mean, yeah, he was hurt. It's not like he just said, "Okay, babe, you don't have to worry about it." I mean, yeah, in an ideal world, would that have been ideal? Yeah, but I mean, he was very hurt. He was the manager at the place that he worked at, and it really did affect him. It hurt him because he worked so hard to get to that point. And I'm not gonna say that's not masculine if he cried or whatever. I mean, if I lost my job, I would cry, but it wasn't like,
Sure,
well,
girl.
Well, you can
he felt what he felt, but he got back on his shit. He's like, we're not gonna be in this place forever, babe. He did reassure me, like, I'm gonna get a job,
Yeah, I
but
think
to say that,
honestly,
oh,
I
you
think
can't
that
cry, that's kind
more
of
what
insane.
Moff is saying. I think he did do what Moff is saying. Sounds like he came up with a plan and he didn't like wallow for a long time. No couch potato. Like he was what we're trying to get at. I would say, like, I don't know what I was about to say actually.
Well, I want to take a couple steps back to this idea of codependency. There's a lot of, like, we've talked a bit on the show, like that's a very bad thing. And I think like the modern version of dependency, where like people are partners and they're depending on each other for the same things, is a really big issue. But I don't think it's a big issue because of the dependency aspect. I think that like the strongest glue that holds a relationship or a marriage together is dependency on the other person. But like women should be dependent on their man for the things that a man needs to do. And a man should be dependent on his woman for the things a woman needs to do. As soon as a woman is like a woman is being depended on by her man for the things that the man is supposed to do, that's where the codependency issues come in. And same thing, vice versa. So like the codependency, right? So like when your husband is like the person you're going shopping with, this is a codependency issue, right? Go shopping with your girlfriends. When like a husband is depending on his wife to help pay the mortgage, this is a codependency issue. This is his job. So like figure that out, right? But like a woman depending on her husband to pay the mortgage because that's his job, and he depends on her to stay home and raise the children because that's her job. This is good, not bad.
I can partially agree to that. The only thing I don't agree is the shopping, because me and my husband love to go to the grocery store together. Only because
groceries are a bit
I want
different
to
than
put
like
things
hitting the fashion outlet, right?
No, okay, yeah, we don't. I mean, we mostly online shop, so we don't hardly get out just because of the kids. But yeah, grocery shopping, we always go grocery shopping together, only because I like to put things in the cart that I like, and he likes different foods, so we make sure we get what we want.
Why don't you just get what he wants and what you want? Why don't you just know what he wants and just buy that? Why does he have to do his own shopping?
Similar. We're very similar in that we like foods for like a certain week, and then we like change. Like I'm in this yogurt phase, so all week I've been like loving yogurt, and then I know next week I'm like gonna be on to the next thing. Like I'll love apples, and he's this same exact way. Like we'll both have fixes. So like that's why we need a grocery shop, and the kids, because they're always like, can we get this? Can we get that? So we got to make sure everybody gets what they like. We get the main things that we like, that we eat all the time, but we're both kind of people that we get fixed on certain things.
How long have you guys been married? Remind me.
In March it'll be a year.
And you guys are in marriage counseling and less than a year of being married. Why is that?
Because our studies show even if you don't have any problems, like we don't have any problems, it's good to go to marriage counseling just to put more tools in your tool belt. And just we were just open to it. We're like, yeah, I don't think it would hurt us. You know, if anything, we'll learn more things for down the road.
How has it helped?
Tremendously. We see it's actually our pastor, and it's been very helpful.
How so?
Just being patient with each other. Not that we weren't patient with each other before, but just, you know, when life hit, because life did hit, you know, it's not things that normal couples talk about before they get married. So that's why we decided to go to couples counseling before we got married, just so we could be better prepared for marriage, and just expanding our families to have a blended family, growing our faith together, just having a firmer foundation, because I definitely believe you have to have a firm foundation.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out what you mean by all this. Like you said it was patience, but you had patience before. I'm trying to figure out like how it made the marriage better, or maybe
because we
made the
never
relationship
had like
better.
life issues. I mean, you can be patient with somebody, but until life hits you, that's where life is really going to test your patience. So,
But if you never experienced that, then how do you know marriage counseling is what made that better?
because the things that were talked about when, like I said, when my husband lost his job after we were married, we knew how, as a couple, as a married couple, how to handle that. It's not like you're just dating that person, they lost your job. It's easy for somebody to just break up with somebody. But now that you're married, you're in a covenant together. How do you walk together in that?
Yeah, and I think what she's describing is more of, you know, like this is not what the average marriage counseling or couples counseling looks like. Like they're seeking like an elder essentially to give them advice on like their marriage, and that's, you know, that's like the way that marriage like this is how it's always been, right? Like newly married couples would always seek advice from like the elders of the community on like how to act within the marriage in their roles.
I get all that.
Not,
but I
yeah,
think
we
a
weren't
lot of
going
that
to marriage
stuff's
counseling
quack.
because we had problems. We were going,
I think a lot of that
more
stuff. I mean, like
elder.
Gary Chapman, who wrote the 5 Love Languages, was a Christian marriage counselor, but he had no clinical psychology experience or degree. He completely made up the 5 Love Languages. They have no basis in any actual study or research. They've never held up to any scrutiny. So it's like, I get it if you're going to be aligned with this thing, and it's like, well, we have this thing in common, and we're, you know, Christians, and we believe in the biblical thing. I guess that's all fine, well, and good, but like, I don't know. I tend to think that even Christians get divorced. Like even a belief in something such as the Bible or Christianity or a hardcore religious belief is not enough to override our natural human biological wiring. It's just like you see tradcon Christian big families getting divorced all the time. It's, you know, it's rampant. I mean, divorce isn't any better in the church than it is anywhere else. Maybe in the Catholic Church, but it's like the best marriages are arranged marriages. They have the lowest form of divorce, but I don't know. It's just
Moff, I think you're missing her point. I think you're missing her point. What she was
I understand the point. Like, it's for her specifically, but I'm talking about this stuff as a whole, not just as it pertains to her relationship or her marriage. I think that's why.
How did Christianity get pulled into that? I'm so confused because
it's their pastor. Their counselor's their pastor.
Well, their counselor could be someone else. It could be
but it's their pastor,
counselor.
So that's why I brought that up, because it's a Christian thing.
I don't think it's necessarily a Christian thing. I think them seeking for professional advice or wisdom from somebody older who might have some more knowledge in that department.
They clearly chose their pastor. Thing. Did you not, Amelia? Was that on purpose, or was that just some random guy you chose who happened to be a pastor?
No, we specifically chose our pastor.
Yeah. Why are we arguing about this?
No, I'm not arguing about it at all.
But I've heard from many couples, many successful couples that are married 50 plus years, say it's very well advised to do marriage counseling before you get married, just so you can have more tools in your tool belt, because until you're married, you don't really know what marriage is like. And I
Yeah,
hear that
but
all the
like,
time from my parents. Like it's gonna hit you all which ways. And if you don't have a firm foundation, and if you don't come into
Right.
this strong, then
you
that's why
shouldn't be
you
getting
see
married.
divorces. But that's why you see divorces, because I
Well,
think if you it just
exactly.
it doesn't hurt. That's all I'll say. It does not hurt
But
to go
But
to
I
again,
don't
marriage
think that
but
has
counseling.
to
again, I'm
necessarily tie
still,
to religion. I think it's
but
just if you want to
Right.
step into that, you need to prepare yourself. Like if just like when you're ready to start dating, you need to make sure that you're individually right if you want to get into a right relationship. If you know that you're dealing with past traumas and personal issues and you try to get into a relationship with someone, it's not going to work because your traumas are going to start to arise. But if you get somebody to help you and give you the wisdom and guidance and the tools to be able to get into a relationship, then that's exactly what she's seeking. And it doesn't matter if it's Christian based or Muslim or whatever. At the end of the
it
day,
does matter. It actually
50
does
different.
matter. If you're
So
talking
were
about
all of those
marriages, you're
50
talking
marriages,
about it.
Amelia, were all of those 50 marriages Christian based?
No.
And that's
Okay.
not that, Caros, that's not even the point
My
that I'm
couples
making. Like, why are you
counselor,
acting like this is a gotcha? Like, I'm not even
No, I'm not
arguing
acting like
that
it's a
with you.
gotcha. You just threw me off when you said when you started after she spoke, when you started your response,
Yeah.
you started off based on religion and Christianity, and that's where you threw me off because I was
Because
like,
that's where
she
that's
didn't.
the covenant under which they got married. Now, I guess you weren't listening because that's exactly what she
No,
said.
I was listening, but where she was explaining it was from is that she was doing it just to get the tools to deal with her marriage, not
From
the
a
Christian
Christian
tools to deal with a
perspective,
Christian marriage.
I
She was getting the
disagree.
tools to deal with the marriage. And where she
I mean,
also
Amelia can
doubled
speak
backed
for
on that and said
herself.
she knows 50 other relationships that are not all Christian based that went to couples therapy and counseling and marriage counseling to get the tools. That's all. I'm not trying to frustrate you or frustrated. I was just trying
No,
to
you don't have to
understand where
try.
you tied that part in. That was
Yeah,
all.
I guess I am not clear. Like, she said the marriage is a covenant, which is a word recognized by the church. She was married and she was given marriage counseling by her pastor, which is a religious title in a Christian church. I'm guessing because I interviewed her before the show when she talks about traditional and biblical marriage is the faith-based way to go, that she would go to a pastor specifically to talk about faith-based Christian principles and how that applies to marriage. To sit here and think that we should remove that from the situation is very dumb because that's what she just told us she did.
I wasn't saying we should remove it from the conversation. What you were saying in response was you said you were speaking in a general terms. And I was
No, I
like,
was
how are
speaking
we
in
going
terms
generally
of
when it comes to
Christian folks.
Christianity?
because
Okay.
because we're talking about Christian marriage counselors.
Okay.
That
So
was the
now if you
route I was
started it off
going
that
down.
way and said, okay, now regarding to Christian marriages, this is how I feel it goes, then there wouldn't have been no confusion.
There
That's
shouldn't have
I
been
all.
any
will say
confusion because I
though, a
wasn't talking
marriage,
about
whether
Christian
it's
marriages. I was talking about Christian marriage counselors. And Gary
Okay.
Chapman, the guy that wrote the 5 Love Languages, who was a Christian marriage counselor. And that's how I got down that road. I'm
I
I
annoyed
will
that I
say
let
though, a
so
marriage
much of
should
my
be a
time be
covenant,
wasted
whether
about
it's
this.
religious or not. Like that
I
that is a
mean,
What
I
does
covenant.
that
got
mean? What is
divorced
it? I don't even
under
know what a
covenant.
covenant is.
I was Mormon. I got divorced under covenant. Mormon is a sector of Christianity. My marriage
Shame on
counselor
you.
was also Christian, told us to get divorced. So
That's
I
wild.
think there
I got
are
a question.
things wrong with a lot of different opinions in here.
I got a question for Amelia. So the idea of biblical marriage, does the pastor you're in for the marriage guidance, or the church that you're in, do they explain adultery as different for men and women or the same?
It's the same.
Interesting.
If you're gonna cheat, it's wrong on both parties.
What's the Bible say about adultery?
That it's wrong. And I will say scripture does say that that is kind of like the only way to divorce. But I don't think that's the only way. I mean, if you are obviously in an abusive relationship physically, then I definitely think that's okay to leave the marriage. But if it's abusive, I don't think it was ever really, I don't know, wholesome. I don't know. I could be wrong though. It could have started
Well,
out
that's
wholesome
that's
and
what I
then
find interesting. Like the
switched.
biblical, the biblical prescription for a woman to divorce her husband is 1, he abandons her, or 2, he's engaged in sexual immorality. So like he's gay, like he's engaging in gay sex essentially, or sex with farm animals or something.
Ivania,
So
was
that's
that
like
your guys'
also
deal? Is that why you guys, the guy said
sexual immorality?
He never
Was it something
cheated.
else? Wasn't because no, I was asking because he was gay. Because you said he was gay earlier.
Yeah, he did come out as gay to me and said we can still make it work. Because in my past religion, it's a sin to act on it. So he's like we're best friends. This works for me if it works for you, and it didn't work for me. So I don't.
And in that case, I would say that that's okay to divorce. I mean, if your husband's clearly saying he's gay and he's not going for the female
I
party.
don't need an okay or not okay. I think what works for me is
yeah, and that didn't work for you. So I would say in that case, then divorce, because obviously that marriage is not going to be fruitful.
I mean, I've seen a lot of it. My dad is actually gay, so it's very common in Mormon culture to have what's called a lavender marriage. I think it's messed up. I want my man to be straight, and unfortunately, that didn't happen to me the first time. So now we're looking for another.
Well, it's just
well, maybe that works for your mom and dad. You know, if a lavender marriage works, then that's what works for them. You know.
Yeah, just take a Cialis and get it done.
I want to try something. I want to go back really quickly to and this is like a morbid curiosity because I like going down this road. I want to talk to Amelia about this. So this might work, this might not. Do you think that most people that get married in the church and that, believe in the covenant and that sort of thing, do you think that most people that get married under those really have like a very strong belief? Like it's at the core of their thing. Like a biblical marriage is really like what they hold dear. Most people that do it that way.
I mean, I would hope so. I would hope that they're going into a marriage knowing that they actually genuinely want to be with that person for life.
Yeah.
And they respect the covenant and they love. Okay. They want that union between each other.
Cool. So if we can agree on that, because I think it's the same way. I think a lot of people, I'm glad you said that, because I think some people will use the divorce rate and they'll go, well, the people that get divorced they weren't in love. So it's like, oh, well, how do we know? Like, I think most people, I'm sure there are people that regret it, but I think most people go into marriages with the intention of being married. Everything you said, great, perfect. So if belief is not an issue and the respect of the sanctity of marriage and the willingness to keep vows, if none of that is an issue, then why do some work and why do some not?
That's a big question.
I have no idea. I wish I could have the answer.
There's so many variables to that, though. People grow in
like what?
But we're
talking about people. But hold on, let me make sure I'm being very clear on this. I'm talking about people. This is a steadfast, holy belief, deeply, deeply held religious belief in connection with the covenant, with Jesus, with the church. Christian, right? They believe in all of this. It guides all of their decision makings. It's their moral compass. It's their tree. It's their point of reference, their North Star. It's their thing. So if why does it work out for those people, some of those people, and not for others? It's just
because we believe in Jesus doesn't mean we're perfect.
So where does the mistake? What mistakes happen, or where is the difference?
There's a lot of
things.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables that can tie into it. Just because you have strong beliefs and so that
doesn't make you vulnerable. Or
you can go two different ways, and it depends on the person. You can have strong beliefs and say, you know what, these beliefs are going to shape and mold all of my actions and things that I do on a daily basis. So if my partner in my marriage decides to change and grow, and we grow away from each other, and I choose as a person to allow my beliefs to hold this union together, then that's their choice. Or you could say, I believe in God, I believe in this, but in real life, I'm seeing this person change. I'm seeing that we're totally turning into two different people now. We've gone through 2 decades of marriage together. We've changed, we've evolved. Now we want to separate. Yeah, we're going to say, okay, let's choose it. But we're still going to see each other at church and all this stuff. I think it just depends on the person itself.
Okay. I don't think a lot of things depend on, I'll just say this. I don't think a lot of things depend on the individual person, because if everybody was so different that we couldn't predict anything about human behavior, it'd be pure chaos. We'd know what we wouldn't know how advertising and marketing would work. We wouldn't understand consumer behavior. We wouldn't know why people act certain ways. Like, so let's just get on the same page and admit that people are more the same than they are apart. There's small, minute differences between people, but we generally act the same way. The point that I'm trying to make with all of this, regardless of that, is if there is just as likely a chance that they will stay together or they will leave because everybody's different, there's all these variables, then what good is it? Like, what point does it actually serve if it doesn't work? Like, it's right. There's, especially if the doctrine itself says you're only to be divorced under these conditions, and people get divorced under different conditions all the time. So it's like, what good is this as a compass, this sort of philosophy and this belief? Why is this better than just understanding how men and women naturally work and how they naturally operate, and then giving advice based on that?
I don't think divorce is their first option. I think a lot of people at least try to make it work before they even get to the point of divorce, like couples therapy, marriage counseling. I think they really try to go through the steps first before they even get to the point, last resort, of divorce. I don't think
the end result is still the same. Why does that matter?
Yeah, but at least they're trying to make it work before they get to that point, because obviously they might still love each other, maybe not in love with each other, and maybe that's the hard fact that they have to face reality. But if you married, I would hope that you know, have love for that person in some type of way, and you're trying to salvage the marriage. That's why a lot of people go into marriage counseling. So I think a lot of faith-based Christian couples, I don't think divorce is their first option. I think a lot of them at least try to make it work before they even get to that point.
But again, what does it matter? If you get divorced, you're divorced. Like, it doesn't matter if it happened quickly or if you tried and it failed, right? Like, the end result.
Well, they
is still
didn't
the
know
same.
that. What if marriage counseling worked for them and they didn't get divorced?
But it didn't. That's the point that I'm making. Like, why does it work for some and why doesn't it work for others? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, maybe I won't get that.
Maybe they
I don't
just
think I'm getting
couldn't.
the answer.
I don't think
Maybe
you're
they
going to be
just
able to
couldn't
get a
get
definitive
together.
answer for that question.
Yeah.
There's no
It just
definitive
didn't
answer
work
for
for
that
them.
question.
Yeah, but again,
and
like
if it's more
all those are
directed
just,
to
those don't mean
diehard
anything. That's all fairy dust. It's like, oh, like, well, it just didn't work out. It's like, you could say that about literally anything. I mean, if we're trying to
if you
figure out
want more
what
of a
brings men and
definitive
women
answer-
together, then shouldn't we be having those conversations instead of just leaving it up to idioms like, oh, like, you know, it was just the right person, wrong time kind of thing. That's because that's what we're trying to do. Like, that's our whole thing. We're trying to figure out why, like, how we can bring men and women together again in a way that is actually conducive with our natural biologies and our natural proclivities and our natural complementary essence of each other. Men and women are great complementarily when they do what they were put on this earth to do. Like, it's great. We build amazing monuments. We build great societies when men and women are functioning together like they always have. And it's only till now recently that, because we are ignoring the biological differences of men and women, that we have to rely on mechanisms that don't actually work to keep people together. That's my beef with it.
Okay.
I don't know. I wish I had an answer for that, but every relationship is different.
We used to have an answer with this, on this side of the divorce rate in biblical Christian marriages. We used to have an answer, and the answer is we used to define adultery as different for men and women. Like, that's what it is in the Bible. So, and that, like, the way that it's defined in the Bible is our nature. So, like, according to the Bible, like, a man does not commit adultery if he sleeps with a woman outside of his marriage.
I'm totally lost where we're
It's-
going with this conversation now.
Yeah.
I'm totally confused. Like it went
But this-
from a
this is our
diehard
nature.
Christian question, and now it's going into like I'm confused. Where are we at with this conversation right now?
I will agree. Men in the Bible did have many wives, but still socially it wasn't accepted. I mean, King Herod had many wives. You know, Abraham had a kid with not his wife because his wife said, "Hey, go have a baby," because she
Couldn't bear children, right?
children, but eventually she did bear a child. So I mean,
Right.
we have these stories, and it wasn't really accepted. But yeah, they did do it, but it wasn't accepted.
But it got us here, didn't it? I mean, like, turns out it's pretty good. I mean, like, when we look at the way humans reproduce, it's like, thank goodness things happened the way they did. Like, I mean, the gene pool is the way that it is because you had a subset of men that were sharing women, and the men with weak genes and the men that couldn't compete for women and never ended up procreating, their weak genes died off, meaning the guys that could build great things and the guys that could drive society forward and the guys that could bring on great technological and societal advancements, those guys won because they had all the women. And you see what's happening now as that's getting smaller and smaller. So now we're relying on more and more of these hyper successful men to get everything done. We should be thankful that things ended the way that we should be grateful. Like, I think that's where we're trying to go with it. It's like, this is the result of what happens when you allow humans to naturally take course. And if those lower beta, whatever you want to call them, those non-desired men, those genes reproduce, we're in a way bigger. We never advance past the Stone Age. The men that reproduce are the men that got shit done. They built things. They were men of the world. Like, thank goodness. Who cares if it's not societally acceptable? It's what moved us forward to even be able to be on this computer to say that, didn't it? Or would we be better off if that hadn't happened?
I don't know. With the way AI is going, I put my vote in for no AI. I think I mean, there's good and bad in technology, but
We can agree on that at
some,
least.
I think
Yeah,
some things we definitely could have done without. But
Well,
yeah, I don't have all the answers. Maybe one day we will.
I don't think any of us do. And that's the whole point. We're coming up on 2 hours here. I think this is a good time to potentially wrap. TC, do you have anything you wanted to end on?
Nope.
Cool. Well, ladies, we appreciate it. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. right here on this channel for Navigating Modern Dating with me and TC. We'll be back next Monday with my show and the Female POV episode 2. Ladies, we had a good time tonight. I didn't know if it got a little bit over the top. That's just, trying to have a good time. So you're always welcome. We appreciate it. You're all really good sports. If you'd like to come back, just be in touch with Spencer. And I'd love to see you guys all come back when Spencer's on too, just for a little different experience and that sort of thing. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.